so welcome to our deep dive today.
Okay.
We're tackling something that you specifically requested,
Okay.
improving your everyday English.
Sounds good.
Now, you sent over a list of common phrases,
Yeah.
and I gotta admit, at first glance,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this is pretty basic stuff. But then I started thinking, these seemingly simple phrases
Yeah.
are the backbone of how we actually communicate.
Absolutely. Like
Right.
the foundation of a house.
Oh,
You might
it's perfect analogy.
you might not think about it much,
Yeah.
but without a strong foundation, the whole structure is shaky.
Yeah, so we're labeled day one on this list,
Okay.
which makes me wonder, what other linguistic adventures await?
Right?
But even on day one, there's a lot to unpack. I mean, we've got greetings, questions about work and hobbies,
Mhm.
shopping phrases. It's a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah.
How can we kind of make sense of all of this?
Well, instead of jumping around randomly,
Yeah.
let's try grouping these phrases by theme.
Okay.
We can think of it like
I like that.
chapters in a book,
Yeah.
introductions, getting to know you, navigating daily life, that sort of thing.
Okay, I like that. It's like we're creating a roadmap
Exactly.
for navigating all these
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
social situations.
Yeah.
So in our introductions chapter,
Okay.
we have phrases like, James, it's nice to meet you, and I've heard so much about you.
Right.
Now, that second one piqued my interest.
Mhm.
It seems simple, but I have a feeling there's a lot going on beneath the surface.
You're spot on. That phrase can be tricky
Right.
because its meaning really depends on the context in your delivery.
Mhm.
Imagine someone saying it with genuine enthusiasm.
Yeah.
They've actually heard great things about you and are excited to meet you.
Right.
But it can also be used as a polite formality,
Right.
even if they don't know a thing about you.
So it's like a social code you need to decipher.
Yes.
You can't just take it at face value.
Exactly.
So what are some clues that would tell you if someone is genuinely interested or just being polite?
Pay attention to their tone of voice, body language,
Uh-huh.
and what follows that initial phrase.
Yeah.
Are they asking follow-up questions?
Okay.
Or just moving on to the next topic?
Okay.
That can give you a sense of their true level of interest.
That's really helpful. It's making me think about
Mhm.
how much we communicate beyond just the words themselves.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to our next chapter, getting to know you. We've got a bunch of questions here, like where are you from originally? And what's keeping you busy these days?
Yeah.
What's the strategy here? Is it just like rapid fire Q&A?
Not quite.
Okay.
While these questions are common conversation starters,
Right.
the key is to use them as springboards for deeper conversation.
Okay.
Don't just give one-word answers.
Uh-huh.
Share a bit about yourself,
Okay.
and most importantly, ask follow-up questions to show that you're genuinely interested in the other person.
So it's like a dance back and forth,
Exactly.
finding common ground
Yeah.
and building a connection.
Yeah.
And notice how the language in this section is generally pretty informal and friendly.
Right.
But what happens when we shift gears to, say, shopping?
Mm-hmm.
The tone needs to adjust.
Yes. The tone needs to adjust.
Right.
Mm.
The phrases in this section seem much more transactional.
Right.
Like, excuse me, do you have this in a different size?
Mm-hmm.
Or can I try this on?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're entering a different realm of communication.
Precisely. And this is where the concept of formality comes into play.
Okay.
In a store, you're interacting with someone you likely don't know personally,
Right.
so the language needs to be more polite and respectful.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm noticing
Yeah.
subtle differences in the level of formality, even within the shopping phrases.
Okay.
For example, we have, could you show me where the fitting rooms are? Versus, where are the fitting rooms?
Mhm.
What's the distinction there?
That's a great observation.
Okay.
The first phrase, could you show me, is more indirect
Right.
and therefore considered more polite. It's like you're asking for a favor
Okay.
rather than demanding information.
Right.
The second phrase, while not necessarily rude,
Right.
is more direct and casual.
So it's about choosing the right level of politeness for the situation.
Yes.
I'm guessing this becomes even more important in professional settings.
Absolutely. Workplace communication
Right.
is a whole other ballgame
Yeah.
with its own set of rules and expectations.
Well, speaking of work, I see some phrases in here that just scream office life.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that shortly. And let's discuss this during the team meeting.
Yeah.
What's the strategy behind those?
These phrases are all about managing expectations
Okay.
and navigating the complexities of professional communication.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you on that shortly.
Okay.
It's a way to acknowledge a request without committing to a specific time frame.
Right.
It buys you time to gather information or consider your response carefully.
So it's a polite way to say, I hear you, but I need a moment to process this.
Exactly.
But I can also see how that phrase could be misconstrued
Right.
if it's used too often
Right.
or without any follow-up.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's about finding that balance
Right.
between being responsive
Yeah.
and not setting unrealistic expectations.
It's like a delicate dance of communication.
Exactly.
Finding the right words to convey your message effectively while also maintaining those crucial professional relationships.
You've got it. And that's just scratching the surface of workplace communication.
Right.
We could spend a whole deep dive on that alone.
I bet we could.
Yeah.
But before we get completely sidetracked,
Sure.
I want to touch on one more category before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Dining.
Okay.
We've covered shopping,
Right.
but dining seems like a whole other social arena
Yes.
with its own set of customs and, dare I say, potential pitfalls.
You're absolutely right. Dining, especially in a more formal setting,
Yes.
can be a bit like navigating a minefield of etiquette.
Oh, I know what you mean. I'm already feeling a bit anxious just thinking about it.
Right.
But luckily, we have our trusty list of phrases to guide us.
Exactly.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Can I see the menu, please? And could we have a table for two?
Right.
Pretty straightforward, right?
Yes, those are essential phrases
Yeah.
for initiating the dining experience.
Okay.
But notice how even these simple requests
Yeah.
are phrased politely using can I and could we.
Okay.
It sets a tone of respect and courtesy
Right.
from the very beginning.
I'm starting to see the pattern here. Politeness is key,
Yes,
especially in these more formal social settings.
it is, yeah.
Now, once we've got the menu in hand,
Okay.
things start to get a bit more complicated.
Indeed, the ordering process can be a bit overwhelming, especially if you're unfamiliar with the cuisine or if the menu's in a language you're still learning.
That's where phrases like, what would you recommend? And could you explain what this dish is? Come in handy.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
It shows that you're engaged
Right.
and interested in having a positive dining experience.
And let's not forget about those all-important questions about dietary restrictions
Yes.
or preferences.
Of course.
Like, do you have any vegetarian options? Or could you make this dish without nuts?
Right.
These seem crucial for ensuring that everyone at the table
Absolutely.
can enjoy their meal safely and comfortably.
Absolutely. Communicating your dietary needs is essential,
Right.
both for your health and your enjoyment of the meal.
This is all so helpful. I'm already feeling more confident about navigating a restaurant,
Good.
even if it's a fancy one.
That's great.
You know, it's funny, we've been talking about dining etiquette and politeness, but I'm noticing a pattern across all these categories,
Okay.
whether it's greetings, shopping, work, or dining. It seems like choosing the right level of formality is key to successful communication.
That's a brilliant insight. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing the right words,
Right.
but understanding the subtle nuances
Yeah.
of how language changes depending on the social context.
Right.
And that, my friend, is a skill that takes practice and observation.
Well, I'm feeling inspired to put my observation skills to the test.
Great.
We've covered so much ground already.
I have.
Greetings, introductions, shopping, work, now dining.
Right.
But this is just the beginning.
Exactly.
I'm already wondering what other linguistic gems await us in the rest of this list. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be back soon to delve even deeper into this fascinating world of everyday English.
Looking forward to it. So welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm excited to continue our journey through these seemingly simple phrases and uncover even more about the power of everyday English.
Yeah, me too. I'm realizing that even the most basic phrases have these like hidden layers of meaning and cultural significance.
Absolutely.
It's like we're learning a secret language
Yes.
that unlocks fluency and deeper understanding.
Exactly. And remember, these phrases are more than just words. Right.
They reflect social customs and expectations.
Right.
Mastering them can help you navigate different situations with confidence and grace.
Okay, so where do we pick up? What other linguistic adventures await us in our day one curriculum?
Well, we've explored greetings, introductions, shopping,
Right.
and even dining.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's shift gears
Okay.
and delve into the realm of work and home life.
Okay.
These are areas where clear and effective communication is crucial.
Absolutely. Whether it's collaborating with colleagues,
Yes.
delegating tasks, or simply maintaining harmony at home.
Yeah,
The right words can make all the difference.
for sure.
So what kind of phrases are we talking about in this section?
We have a mix of practical phrases
All right.
for getting things done, like, do you need any help with this task?
Uh-huh.
And could you give me an update on the project?
Right.
These are essential for teamwork and efficiency in the workplace.
And it's not just about barking orders or demanding results.
Right.
We also have phrases like,
Thank you for your feedback, and I appreciate your help with this.
yes.
These seem crucial for building positive relationships
Absolutely.
and fostering a sense of mutual respect.
Precisely.
Right.
Expressing gratitude and acknowledging contributions are key to creating a healthy and productive work environment.
Right. And remember, effective communication also involves setting boundaries
Yeah.
and managing expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I see what you mean. We have phrases like, I'll need more time to finish this. And
Yeah.
let's discuss this during the team meeting.
All right.
These seem like diplomatic ways to assert your needs
Yes.
and ensure that everyone is on the same page.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance
Right.
between being helpful and assertive,
Yeah.
respecting your own time and workload,
Uh,
while also contributing to the team's success.
It's like a delicate dance of communication, isn't it?
It is.
Knowing when to step forward and when to step back,
Yes.
all while maintaining those crucial professional relationships.
Yeah.
And these skills are transferable
Right.
to our personal lives as well. So let's shift gears now
Okay.
and talk about home life.
Okay.
It's where we should feel most comfortable and understood.
Yeah.
But even there, clear communication is essential.
Absolutely. I know from experience that even with loved ones, misunderstandings can arise if we're not careful about how we communicate.
For sure.
So, what kind of phrases can help us navigate the complexities of home life?
Well, we have phrases like,
Okay.
let's plan a family outing this weekend,
Uh-huh.
and what would you like for dinner tonight?
Right.
These are simple ways to initiate conversations,
Yeah.
make plans, and ensure that everyone feels heard and included.
Yeah, I like that it's about being proactive and creating opportunities for connection
Exactly.
rather than just letting things happen randomly.
Yes.
And it seems like there's a balance here between taking initiative and being considerate of others' preferences.
Exactly. It's a collaborative process, not a dictatorship.
And let's not forget about those little everyday tasks
Yes.
that keep a household running smoothly. I see phrases like, could you take out the rubbish? And have you watered the plants today?
Yeah, those essential phrases
Yes.
for delegating responsibilities
Yeah,
and maintaining a sense of shared ownership within the household.
absolutely.
But even these seemingly mundane phrases can be fraught with tension, right?
For sure.
It's all about the tone
Yes.
and how you frame the request.
You're so right. No one wants to feel like they're being nagged or bossed around.
Right.
The key is to communicate these requests respectfully and collaboratively.
Oh.
Instead of take out the rubbish,
Uh-huh.
you could say, hey, could you do me a favor and take out the rubbish when you get a chance? I'd really appreciate it.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It's framing the request as a collaborative effort rather than a demand.
Exactly.
Right.
And using phrases like please and thank you
Yes.
can go a long way in maintaining a positive and respectful dynamic.
You know, it's funny, we've been talking about these seemingly simple phrases, but I'm realizing that there's a lot more to them than meets the eye.
There is.
It's not just about memorizing words.
Right.
It's about understanding the social context,
Yes.
the tone, the unspoken rules of engagement.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating.
It is like we're peeling back the layers of an onion,
Yeah.
revealing the complexity and richness of human communication.
And we're only on day one.
I know, it's incredible.
I can't wait to see what other linguistic treasures await us in the rest of this list.
Yeah.
But before we move on,
Okay.
I have to ask about a phrase that caught my eye earlier.
Okay.
Nice to finally put a face to the name.
Right.
I feel like this one is loaded with social significance.
You're right. This phrase often comes up when
Yeah.
you've been communicating with someone remotely,
Okay.
perhaps via email or phone, and finally meet them in person.
Right.
It acknowledges that previous interactions have established a sense of familiarity, even without a physical meeting.
So it's like bridging the gap between the digital and the real,
Exactly.
acknowledging that our relationships now exist in this hybrid space.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a subtle way of saying we've connected in the virtual world, And now it's great to finally meet you in person.
I love that.
Yeah,
It speaks to the evolving nature of human connection in the digital age.
it does.
And it seems like a great way to break the ice
Yeah,
and transition into a more personal interaction.
absolutely. It's a subtle
Yeah.
but powerful way to acknowledge the digital layer
Right.
of our modern relationships.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling more equipped to handle those real-life interactions now, whether it's navigating a tricky conversation at work, maintaining harmony at home, or simply putting a face to a name I've only encountered online.
Mm?
I'm excited to put these phrases into practice and see how they transform my everyday communication. So, what other linguistic gems await us in our next section? Welcome back to our deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like we've uncovered so much already.
Yeah.
We've explored everything from greetings and introductions to navigating the tricky waters of workplace communication
Right.
and even mastering the art of dining etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible how much we can learn from seemingly simple phrases.
It is quite remarkable, isn't it? We often take language for granted,
Right.
but when we stop to examine it closely, we discover a whole universe
Right.
of meaning, culture, and social dynamics woven into every word and phrase.
It's like we've been given this decoder ring
Yes.
that unlocks a deeper understanding
Right.
of how people communicate
Yeah,
and connect with each other.
absolutely.
There's still more to explore.
There is.
What other linguistic treasures await us in our final section?
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in terms of social interactions and practical situations. Now let's shift our focus to something a bit more personal,
Okay.
the realm of health and well-being. This is an area where clear and effective communication is arguably even more important.
Absolutely. Being able to express how we're feeling, both physically and emotionally,
Yes.
is crucial for taking care of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and seeking help when we need it.
Yeah,
But it can also be a sensitive topic.
it can.
Right. Not everyone feels comfortable
Right.
talking about their health openly.
You're right. It can be a delicate area to navigate.
Right.
But luckily, our trusty list of phrases offers some helpful tools for communicating about health
Okay.
in a way that's both informative and considerate.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What kind of phrases are we talking about here?
Well, we have the classic, I'm feeling a bit under the weather,
Right.
which, as we discussed earlier, is a gentle way to signal that you're not feeling well without going into too much detail.
Right. It's a polite way to acknowledge that you're not 100%
Yes.
without oversharing or making others uncomfortable.
Right.
So what other strategies are there for communicating about health?
We also have phrases that focus on self-care
Okay.
and healthy habits like, I'm going for a quick workout,
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to eat healthier these days,
Right.
and let's take a break and relax.
Right.
These phrases subtly signal
Yeah.
that you prioritize your well-being without sounding preachy or judgmental.
I like that. It's about modeling healthy behaviors
Yes.
and creating a positive atmosphere around taking care of ourselves, both physically and mentally.
Exactly.
And it can also open the door for conversations about health and wellness with others.
Exactly. Sharing these phrases can normalize conversations
Right.
about well-being and encourage others to do the same.
Yeah.
And remember, clear communication about health is also crucial for seeking help when needed.
Right.
We have phrases like, I'm planning to see a doctor soon, and I think I need to see the dentist,
Right.
which highlight the importance of being proactive about our health
Yeah.
and not ignoring potential issues.
That's so important. It's easy to just brush off those little aches and pains
Yes, it is.
or put off scheduling appointments.
It is.
But being able to articulate those concerns even to ourselves is often the first step towards taking action.
Absolutely. And sometimes the simplest phrases can be the most powerful.
Right.
Just asking someone, are you feeling okay? Or how are you feeling today? Can open the door to a deeper conversation about health and well-being.
Right.
It shows that you care and that you're there to listen without judgment.
It's amazing how these seemingly simple phrases
Right.
can have such a profound impact on our communication and our relationships. We've seen this throughout our deep dive, whether it's navigating a tricky social situation, expressing gratitude, or simply asking someone how they're feeling. The right words can make all the difference.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Language is a powerful tool, and the more we understand its nuances,
Right.
the more effectively we can use it
Yeah.
to connect with others, build trust, and navigate the complexities of human interaction.
This deep dive has been such an eye-opening experience. It's made me realize that even the most basic phrases
Right.
have this hidden depth and cultural significance. And it's inspired me to pay closer attention to how I use language in everyday life.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, fluency isn't just about memorizing words. It's
Right.
about understanding the context, the
Yeah.
tone, and the unspoken rules of communication.
Yeah?
And that takes practice, observation, and a willingness to embrace the nuances of language.
Absolutely. I'm ready to put my newfound knowledge to the test and see how it transforms my communication skills now before we sign off. I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question. What other everyday phrases in English might reveal deeper cultural insights? I encourage you to continue your exploration of the language and see what other hidden treasures you can uncover. Until next time, happy language learning.
Wonderful. Thanks for listening, everyone.